Good morning, students. Previously we discussed about plant tissues, where we discussed simple and complex tissues. Now today we'll be discussing about the animal tissues. So these are the different animal tissues that we are going to discuss: cartilage, adipose, nervous tissue, bone, blood, epithelial, muscular and connective tissue. So these are the different tissues that we are going to take up in this section. But today we'll be covering only epithelial tissue. So this is a chart which shows the classification of animal tissues. Like animal tissues, they can be classified as epithelial tissues, muscular tissues, connective tissues and nervous tissues or nerve cells. Further, epithelial tissue, they are divided into squamous, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated and glandular epithelial tissue. Muscular tissue, they are divided into three parts: striated, smooth or unstriated and cardiac, that is heart muscles. And connective tissue, they are blood, lymph, bone, cartilage, areolar, adipose, ligament and tendon. And lastly, we'll be discussing the nervous tissue. So let's begin with the first one, that is epithelial tissue or epithelium. Skin which covers and protects all our body parts is made up of epithelium tissue. Other occurrences of epithelium are inner linings of mouth, linings of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries, and covering of other organs and cavities in the body. Cells in epithelial tissue are tightly packed with no intercellular space. They are separated from other tissues by a fibrous basement membrane. That means they are always attached to some basement membrane. So these are the general functions of epithelial tissue. First is they protect the organs which they cover, and they keep different organs separate. Epithelium forms a selectively permeable layer or membrane over body and other organs. It allows certain substances to pass through and stops others. You must be aware of a term semi-permeable membrane. In the same way, it also acts as a selectively permeable membrane, that it allows only certain substances to pass through and stops others. In certain cases, it secretes and acts as glands, that we'll be discussing in today's section. So the first is squamous epithelial tissue. Now we'll be discussing different types of epithelial tissue. Squamous, it consists of thin, flat, disc-like polygonal or irregular shaped cells with round and flat nucleus, as you can see in this picture here. This is a very simple type of epithelial tissue, or squamous, or simple squamous epithelial tissue. They form linings of nose, pericardial cavity. Wherever you find this word cardial or cardiac, it has to do something with your heart. So pericardial cardial cavity, that means it forms the outer covering of that heart. Wherever the cavities or some hollow spaces are there, that is covered by this squamous epithelial tissue. And blood vessels, yes, they are also this tissue is also present there. They protect the underlying parts of the body from mechanical injury. Yes, they give protection. It prevents the entry of germs inside the body, and it facilitates diffusion of gases. Since it's a semi-permeable membrane, so it allows the diffusion of gases also. Now next is stratified squamous epithelial tissue, or you can say this is a complex epithelial tissue, where you can say different layers of simple squamous epithelial tissues are there. That means it is made up of many layers of squamous epithelial tissue. So therefore we can call it as complex epithelial tissue, right? Because it has many layers, or strata means layered. So here stratified squamous epithelial tissue is made up of different layers. Stratified squamous epithelial is a type of tissue that is found covering and lining parts of the body. And in this tissue, cells are flattened, as you can see here, joined together, and they are tightly packed and stacked. The major function of this type of tissue is mainly protection, and it is found in areas that undergo wear and tear. That means it gives us protection so that we are not harmed severely. Next is cuboidal epithelial tissue. As the name suggests, since it is cuboidal in shape, that means length and breadth they are almost equal. So therefore, they are called cuboidal epithelial tissue. And this, you can see a basement membrane is there, then cytoplasm, nucleus, and this is the arrangement of cuboidal epithelial tissue. Cuboidal epithelial tissue, it consists of cube-like cells of almost equal height and width. That means length and breadth they are the same. And cuboidal tissues, they are found in kidney tubules and salivary glands. They provide mechanical support to organs and help in absorption and excretion. Yes, depending upon their position or location, they have different functions. Like in kidney tubules, they help in filtration or absorption of some useful substances. In salivary glands, they produce or they secrete some juices that are then added to the food. Next is columnar epithelial tissue. As you can see, the name has been given columnar. That means they are just like columns, standing columns. It consists of tall cylindrical cells. Columnar tissues, they are found in the inner surface of stomach and intestine, and they help in absorption of nutrients. You must have heard about villi or villi. They are finger-like projection which are present in the intestine, and they help in absorption of useful nutrients from the digested food. So columnar epithelial tissue, they help in absorption of nutrients, secretions of gastric juices, and also provide mechanical support to the organs. Next is ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. Yes, these are also columnar epithelial tissue, but the only difference is here some hair-like structures are present on its surface. As you can see in this diagram, it's written cilia. Cilia are hair-like projections which are present on the surface of these columnar epithelial tissue. Ciliated columnar epithelial tissue, it is composed of simple columnar epithelial tissue with cilia on their apical surface or on their top surface. These epithelial cells are found in the linings of the fallopian tube. You must be aware of this term, fallopian tube. These are what? These are the parts of female reproductive system. Fallopian tube, or they are also called as what? Oviduct. And the parts of the respiratory system, they are also found there, where the beating of the cilia helps remove particulate matter. Particulate means small particles which may enter along with the air. They are filtered or they are removed by these cilia. Besides that, cilia also helps in passing the mucus. Mucus is a, you can say it's a liquid which is present in our alimentary canal. So it also helps in these cilia which are present, they help in passing this mucus. Next is glandular epithelial tissue. Gland is basically a collection of cells which produces, or you can say which secretes some chemicals. And there are two types of glands, endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine glands, which are also called as ductless glands, they simply secrete their juices or secrete their hormones directly into the bloodstream. Whereas exocrine glands, they have some tubules or tubes to carry their secretions. So as you can see in this diagram, this is glandular epithelial tissue. These are different glands, like we have sweat glands, oil glands, which helps in passing out excess of water along with salt, that is sweat, and some oil glands are also present, which helps in passing out excess of oil or fats out of our body, that is through skin. So glandular epithelial tissue, they are tissues that forms multicellular glands which produce chemicals. They constitutes both endocrine and exocrine glands, as I've mentioned. So that's all for today's topic. I hope you have understood these different types of epithelial tissue. Thank you. Thanks a lot.